This is the beginning of issues. Do you want to know that? Just get out. Yeah, just do that. Anyways, hey guys, we're back. Yay! It's another edition of 64 Sports, the sports show that nobody asked for and definitely should get canceled at some point. And it's me, Little Pizza Boy 64, once again, getting pissed off for no reason, and that is due in part with, you guessed it, the Saints. Once again, as promised, we went on a recap with weeks 1 through 6 of the 2024-25 NFL season, and what that ended off with, a 2-4 record. We come so far. And can you believe how worse it got ever since? Here's what I remember from that discussion. My main points were, get better for the most part. That was pretty much the only recap that was really necessary. But in that idea, though, you could easily think to yourself, okay, it can't get that bad. So, can it possibly get any worse, right? Can it get any worse? We'll find out. But after that Week 6 loss to Tampa Bay, that 51-27 loss, you think to yourself, what the frick is going on? What happened to this franchise? Well, it's pretty safe to say that we could go ahead and talk about it. Just because, we could easily talk about it because it's just funny to do that, because, I don't know. But anyways, though, let's just go ahead and get back to it. So last time we checked in, the Saints lost to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers with a final score of 51-27. Now, naturally, at this point, you're at a 2-6 record. It's like, okay, fine. I mean, a 2-4 record. I mean, come on, it can't be that worse, right? Who we play next week? Our head coach is coming back. Great. Week 7, Thursday Night Football. Woo! The Saints have not won a Thursday Night Football game in what feels like forever at this rate. Ever since Amazon got the rights to Thursday Night Football, every single Thursday night appearance that the Saints have made, they've lost. That's not even a joke. And that's kind of bugging me a little bit because it'll be nice to see them win on a Thursday night, but I guess they're not ready for that. So anyways, they go against the Denver Broncos, and naturally the big storyline of it is Sean Payne's grand return after abandoning the team after the season after Drew Brees retired. I mean, I don't blame him, but at the same time, why would you do that? But anyways, in this game, for Thursday Night Football, I mean, for Amazon, I imagine this was like the marquee matchup. This is their Sunday night game. It's kind of like how it was when Tom Brady came back to New England. This game ended 33-10. Lost. We're continuing this losing streak. We're now 2-5. Are you kidding me? We're 2-5. Main thing about this, hold up. The main thing about that, the Saints struggle on both sides of the ball. This was such a lopsided Thursday Night Football defeat. And the Broncos defense stifled the Saints offense. And Denver's offense, it capitalized on several defensive issues that the Saints had faced with. Are you kidding me? If people wanted to say something, I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this right now. If Sean Payne wanted to prove that the Saints were his bitch, he was right. He has the right to say that the Saints are his bitch because it is just the true statement. If you lose to the team, if you lose to your former head coach by a score of 33-10, it's pretty clear that you're the problem and that you're the bitch, okay? That's all you can really say about that. And on top of that, it was at this point that many Saints fans were just pleading to fire Dennis Allen. Was it that hard? I guess not. I guess it was hard for New Orleans because they still haven't done it yet. And even after this loss, they still haven't done that. It was moving on season. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. All right, 2-5. Don't freak out. We're playing against the Chargers. They're doing okay at the time of week 8. They were doing okay, but it could be possible that we play a solid game. It will be a really nice afternoon game to take a look at and watch and see. Are you kidding? 26-8. 26-8. Can you get any worse than that? Well, let me tell you, it got worse, mate. Because the Saints defense showed a little bit of improvement and, having some sacks on Justin Herbert, the offense didn't even bother to get to the end zone. Like they just barely bothered to get to it. They couldn't do it. It feels like they couldn't do it. They just couldn't do it. They really couldn't do it. They really couldn't do it. I don't know. I don't know. Because look, all it was one safety and 2 field goals. That's it. That's everything the Saints scored. And they just allowed the freaking Chargers to just win like that. It's just insanity. Alvin Kamara and Chris Olave, they tried putting up good yardage, but with no scores. And the key injury to this one was apparently Marshawn Lattimore and other further component issues. Most notably, it was starting to become obvious that defenders really like tackling Chris Olave a lot. Like, that's not fun. Like, why? What did that man ever do? Like, seriously, what did he ever do? I have no idea what he did to deserve all this hitting. But it's a sign of concern. But is it something to worry about? I don't necessarily think so, right? Right? Okay. So after this loss, they lose in Los Angeles. Okay, so now they're 2-6. I'm like, okay, that's a little more concerning. Please fire Dennis Allen. They still haven't fired Dennis Allen. Okay, we're going into week 9. We're playing against the Panthers. They're the worst team in the league. The Carolina Panthers are the worst team in the league. The Saints finally could end this losing streak. You lose 6 games in a row. Keep in mind, we were talking about Super Bowl appearances. We were talking about comparisons with this team and the 2009 Saints. That was the whole thing at the beginning, and then look where it's ending up. You can't be serious. So week 9, they can finally end this losing streak. They can finally, are you kidding me? Battery. Energizers, damn it. Okay, damn it. Get out. Are you kidding me? You lose to the Panthers? You lose to the Panthers. You lose to the Panthers by a single point. The Carolina Panthers, i.e. the worst ranked team in the National Football League at the time of week 9. And you lose to them. Week 1, you kicked their asses 47-10. And you're telling me you couldn't even bother to win this game against the Panthers. And it was at this rate. That I told myself that this is bottom of the barrel. You freaking lose to the Panthers out of all teams. Everybody's going to make fun of you. There's no question about it. They are going to make fun of you. And everybody did. I even made it clear myself. I posted on my story, on my Instagram story, I posted it on TikTok, and I posted it as a YouTube short that the Saints were officially the worst team in the league after losing to the Panthers. If that loss didn't prove anything, it meant one thing and one thing only. That they deserve to be the 32nd place team in power rankings. Because there's no way you freaking lose to the Panthers. Oh, and on top of that, Chris Olave gets injured again. Why? Because Derek Carr thinks it was funny to throw a hospital ball. A hospital ball. People blame Derek Carr. My dad blamed the defense. Me, I didn't give a crap. I just wanted, I cared, but at the same time, I just wanted to see this team succeed. And it was just so infuriating that this was happening again with Chris Olave. He has been dealing with concussions throughout the season. And it's really, for the most part, it's really annoying that defenses want to tackle the man like crazy. They want to injure that man. They want him dead. Why? I don't understand why. This was the final straw for many Saints fans. You were at this point, you're 2-7. And you're telling me that you decided to lose to the Panthers of all teams. It was at this rate where I feel like many Saints fans wanted Dennis Allen to be beheaded. I swear to God. Like, this was the turning point. This was the turning point. That was the decider. That's what made them say, we're done. We can't anymore. And that's what finally happened. The Saints did the unthinkable, and they actually fired Dennis Allen. Not following the Monday after that game. And I find this funny that they announced his firing in the middle of class, in the middle of my school time. And I didn't know. But one of my buddies told me, and it was like, okay, you're crazy. There's no way they actually did it. And then when I finally got access to a computer, I checked, and Lord and behold, on YouTube, Dennis Allen officially fired. And I was so damn happy. It was to the point where even my teacher was happy. The teacher during that class period, he was happy that they fired Dennis Allen, and everybody else that hated that man's guts were so happy that he got fired. You know, I wish him the best. Look, if being honest, I wish the best for him. I really do wish the best for him. But by God, dude, you could not be a head coach. I'm sorry. You are a great defensive coordinator, but you can't be a head coach. The Saints didn't learn that because they did that. He did the same thing with Oakland. When the Raiders were still in Oakland, he was head coach for a while. They knew that he wasn't the best guy. The Saints didn't pay attention to that. They thought Dennis Allen, improved and could have been capable of being a head coach. And don't get me wrong, he did have his moments where he showed that he can be a head coach. Again, those first 2 weeks. But ever since then, it was downhill, man. And it was time for a change. And I'm happy that they ended up doing that. I'm really did. But it was time to move on. And what better way to do that by saying, Dennis Allen, I'm sorry, bro, but get the fuck out. And it was clear. So, Dennis Allen's fired. Who's our interim head coach? Our special teams coordinator, Darren Rizzi. Darren Rizzi is our head coach. We already know we're going to meme the hell out of this. And it was time for the test, week 10, against, for some reason, starting to dive down a bit, Atlanta Falcons. Look, we're coming back. Atlanta's coming back. This time they're coming to our turf. You feel me? So, Darren Rizzi, can you overtop them? You did. Oh my goodness. Finally, it is over. The Saints win a football game, 20-17. Saints edged out the Falcons in a tightly contested divisional matchup. And, being honest, it was balanced for both offense and defense. And it ended up being a really, really, solid game at that moment. And it was the same time that we also got, we saw what was going on with a certain MVS, Marquez Valdes-Scantling. What a hell of a guy. What a hell of a guy. That's all you can really say. And at that moment, when the clock hit 0, and it was 20-17 with a Saints victory, I went to my mom. I was hugging my mom, and I started crying because the Saints won a football game. I started crying because the Saints won a football game. That is enough to show you that I give it. I care. But my mom was just telling me that I was crazy. Calm the fuck down. It's just a football game. It's just not a big deal. But at the same time, it is kind of a big deal. So at that rate, yeah, who would have thought Dennis Allen was the problem? Who would have thought, huh? Who would have thought? Darren Rizzi immediately made one simple change. Character. I promise you, he has much more of a character than Dennis Allen did as head coach. And I like I said, I like what was I didn't say this before, but I like what happened. It was a great game. And like every other Saints game, it gets you on the edge of your seat. I promise you. A good majority of other Saints games. So okay, now we're at what, 3-7? Okay, at least we finally got rid of that losing streak. But at this point, I'm telling this to myself, I don't think we're making the playoffs anymore. Our playoff chances are dead at that rate, especially after losing to Carolina. But okay, so now week 11, and it's the Cleveland Browns. Okay, Jameis Winston's coming back. Okay, we missed the guy. I miss Jameis Winston. He was a fun guy for the team. But obviously, it was clear that what we had to do was what we had to do. And once again, the Saints showed incredibleness by defeating the Cleveland Browns with a final score of 35-14. The Saints are starting to bounce back again. And that is the best thing you get at. Hey, Taysom Hill. This was Taysom Hill's game. He deserved that NFC Player of the Week, Offensive Player of the Week. He deserved that. Three touchdowns in the second consecutive victory for the Saints. 3 touchdowns. Taysom Hill. This is why we call him the Swiss Army knife. That man can do anything that you could ask for. He loves playing football. We know he can. He does. And again, Darren Rizzi, thank you, man. You're actually trying to give this team some hope and stuff. I'm really happy about that. And funny enough, actually, we'll get to this in a minute, but for some reason, there's a little playoff implication still going on, which is actually insane to me, but we'll get to that when we get to that. So, at this rate, the Saints are now at a 4-7 record. 4-7 record. And at this point, you might as well tell yourself, okay, maybe playoff chances are dead in the water. probably, but also chances for a higher draft pick isn't happening as well. But and I want to get to talk about this right now. I hate that there's people that actually want the team to purposefully lose, and I get it. You know, you want a better draft position to get better players, but at the same time, no, I want to see this team succeed. I don't want to be looking at a team that is losing. I want to see a team that does well, and if they have to lose, then they will do it. Like, do it naturally. Don't forcefully try to lose. I don't know why I'm saying that, but you know, and I get it. People want to do the tank and stuff, but no, just I don't know, man. No, man. But because at this point, I'll tell this right now. The next few games that the Saints have right now, it's week 12. Well, it's the end of week 12, and the Saints have their bye week. But when they come back in week 13, they're playing against the Rams, who have been slightly improving a little bit from the beginning. And then after that, they play the New York Giants. Look, with the New York Giants, they got their asses kicked by Tampa Bay. Literally, like week 12. I'm not even kidding by that. So, could be an easy game. Then the Commanders, which, funny enough, I forgot to mention this. We traded away Marshawn Lattimore during the whole Dennis Allen firing. We traded them to the Commanders, and he hasn't even started for the Commanders. I don't think he's started for the Commanders yet. And if he has, the Commanders have been losing ever since he showed up, which was it's kind of a funny stat to think of. But same time, I miss you too. But also another thing, you got the Commanders, solid team. They're solid. That's all you can really say about them. Then week 16, they play against the Green Bay Packers. That game, I can guarantee you that we're gonna lose. I'm just gonna be completely honest with you. But hey, possibility is a possibility. All right. Week 17 against the Raiders. Derek Carr, please don't make the history by losing to every single team. Okay, and of course the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to close out the season. So, with the remaining schedule for the season, there is a solid shot, which is shocking to say. There's a solid shot that the Saints could possibly make the playoffs, but I doubt it at this rate. For everything to go in their favor, they have to win the remainder of their schedule, which is a little easier said than done. A little more easier than said than done, because they play against the Giants, the Commanders, the Raiders. Actually, no. Just the Giants and the Raiders, I can guarantee you those would be games that they will succeed in. The Rams and the Commanders might be a little more challenging, and maybe possibly also with the Bucks. Packers, I already know that's going to be a shit show, especially for a Monday night, which I hope it doesn't get flexed up. At the same time, I won't be surprised. So, for the Saints to actually make the playoffs, by God, if they want to, their best bet, win the remainder of the season. Hope to God that every single team that has to lose, loses, and the Saints have their shot. And Darren Rizzi will be shown to be a god. That's pretty much all it is at this rate. Can I say it's possible? It is possible. Am I having my hopes up for it? Absolutely the fuck not. I'm getting ready for next season at this rate. But, hey, and as for possible new head coaches, I'll be fine if they keep Darren Rizzi as head coach. Seeing what he's done so far, I'm impressed, and I'll be pretty happy if they decide to keep him as head coach. But if they don't do that, I won't blame them. So, possible head coaching decisions should be coming up, but we'll talk about that in for the next video, this final 6 weeks, because we did week 1 to week 6 in the previous video. This is week 7 to week 12. As promised before, next 6 weeks. This has been the next 6 weeks, right? Yeah, next 6 weeks. So yeah, so overall, all you can really say is, if you continue to be a Saints fan, know very well that it's going to be make or break decisions. So that's all you really could think about for the most part. But hey, we'll see what can be done, right? I don't know, man. I have no idea. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Follow the socials, like, comment, subscribe, and happy Thanksgiving if you celebrate Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving. Because Thanksgiving is tomorrow, and this is the beginning of week 13 tomorrow as well. Really doing stuff. See you guys next time.